everybody. So we're going to be recapping this week's news, 13th January to 19th January. There's a couple of changes made to the stream setup, so hopefully keep it a bit more stable. I've also added social things since last time. If you want to keep up to date with me, I tend to announce when I'm streaming on Twitter. So either follow me on that or just follow me on Twitch and you'll get notifications for when I go live. Anyway, let's get started on this week's news, I guess. I just want to check I did the right camera there. Okay, I did. It's fine. I just want to make sure. Okay, so first up, PEGI announces new content description for in-game purchases on physical products. So if you're not familiar with PEGI, PEGI is the ratings board for the European Union. So they're the people who put 18s or 15s or whatever on games. There's the equivalent in the US who do like M for mature and rated T for teen. Those guys, MSRP. So PEGI is the European version. So basically, this is them just adding the game contains in-game purchases to physical products, which were not present up until now. They had been on digital products, mostly on apps. And I actually don't think I've ever seen it on like the PlayStation Store or whatever that it says it has in-game product or in-game purchases, but apparently it does. But now the physical ones should, going forward anyway. PlayStation Flash sale starts today, and that was yesterday. So it's continuing today. Basically, there's a lot of games that are now under 10 euro or 20 euro or $10, $20 or £10 or whatever your currency of choice is. There's a big list here on PlayStationLifestyle.net, but you can go to the PSN store, and there's some really good games there and some fairly recent ones in there too that are quite cheap now. So there's your PSA, check it out. I imagine it'll be over for the weekend. Okay, so into some kind of bigger news. Mortal Kombat 11 got a kind of reveal this week. Mortal Kombat 11 hype begins with an ultra-violent gameplay exhibition. So there was an MK11 event going on this week. I'm just going to show you a bit of video from a bit of gameplay. We turn on my desktop audio first. That's some nasty.
Why don't you flee, Earthrealmer?
The Shirai Ryu embrace danger.
What? Scorpion doesn't talk. Weird.
So this is a Mortal Kombat game, so you expect the fight
Hey, it's
to
Ed
be
Boon.
brutal.
Cool.
MK11 sees the return of Baraka, who was a fan favorite from Mortal Kombat 2.
It says
So let's see
it
some
says
of the
Boone's
discussion.
main on top of Scorpion. That's hilarious. Baraka's a bit of a dick, really. Baraka Obama. Nasty. Scorpion getting his ass kicked here.
Not to be outdone, Scorpion has a few tricks up his sleeve.
Nice. Where's the big uppercut? Where's the big dumb Mortal Kombat uppercut? I want to see that. Ow, he's
Okay, now
he's
without
dead.
getting too technical, we're going to get into some of the geeky fighting game moments out there. Mortal Kombat, traditionally we've had 1 meter that's a shared resource amongst the offense, defense, and the super moves. Mortal Kombat X is separating all 3 of those. So we have a horizontal meter as the offense attacks, vertical meter as the defense.
Okay, let's not get too deep into that. But yeah, Mortal Kombat Mortal Kombat 11 officially revealed this week. I can turn off desktop audio now. Okay, so sad news. All of Machinima's videos are now gone. So if you're not familiar, Machinima was I guess, a YouTube channel that had a lot of interesting community-based videos. So you had people like Funhouse. They started on that using Inside Gaming. That was their channel. Then it's the Two Best Friends LP team, who have also disbanded at this point. But that's where they got their start too. So a lot of videos I would have watched years ago and kind of got me into the whole YouTube thing. So it's kind of sad to see the videos gone. I'm not sad to see Machinima gone. They were kind of shitty to their content producers, but seeing the videos gone is not great. But yeah, that's gone now. If you want to check the channel, you'll see all the videos are deleted. So following on from last week's news that the players had found their way into a secret developer room within Fallout 76. Fallout 76 continues to be shitty. Basically, Bethesda are now banning anybody who uses any of the items in there or who have been found to have accessed it in any way. So yeah, Fallout 76. Bethesda just can't seem to do anything right. Go away, Kotaku. Okay, some kind of horribly sad news now. EA cancels the open world Star Wars game that it had already rebooted twice. So that kind of sucks. So basically, Visceral Games had been working on a Star Wars game, an open world Star Wars game. Visceral Games are the guys who made Dead Space. And they were shuttered last year. Very sad. But along with shuttering them, that Star Wars title they were working on obviously was cancelled, and it was moved on to EA Vancouver. And now we have the news that EA Vancouver has also had that game taken from them, so that's been cancelled too. What was the update? Because there was an update. Right, so the update here is that EA Vancouver are still there, so they haven't shuttered the studio, which is good, and they've cancelled the open world game they were going to be making and are just making a smaller version to come out next year. When EA does this, so they've done this before where they've taken a kind of bigger, broader game and tried to shrink it down. So they did this with Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 was supposed to be a much bigger game, and they shrunk it so they could get it out within a year or within a year and a half. Dragon Age 2 is not great, it's not the best one. It's kind of the same with Battlefront 2's campaign. Battlefront 2's campaign was done in about a year. It's not good. If one, it's not a good campaign, and two, it's very buggy. So, this game's not going to be good. The Westworld mobile game is shutting down after Fallout Shelter lawsuit settlement. So, Westworld released a mobile game early last year, that was remarkably similar to Fallout Shelter, and had been judged to be a little too similar to Fallout Shelter. Basically, Bethesda came down and said, you pretty much just copied us. Even though a lot of games do that, for whatever reason, they felt that Westworld were doing it too much, I guess. So basically, that game is no longer available. Whether this is a result of the actual lawsuit or whether it's a result of the game just not being particularly popular, don't know. But I would say it's probably the lawsuit. Sony fined €2 million for misleading PlayStation customers. So this is basically Sony not being upfront about the whole PlayStation Plus required for online play. So it doesn't really say it on the back of the box. It says online play available, and it's like in very small letters, you need PlayStation Plus, check the fine print kind of thing. And this is them basically saying that's not good enough. You need to do better about that. But what's $2 million to Sony? I don't know. And whatever. The real life Pinkertons are suing Rockstar over Red Dead Redemption 2. So the Pinkertons are a kind of antagonist party within Red Dead Redemption 2. The Pinkertons are kind of the forefathers or forebears for like the federal government, but they're a kind of mercenary band at the time. These are a historical group, they really did exist. So Red Dead Redemption 2 doing their kind of historical accuracy kind of thing, so they used them in that. But the actual Pinkertons, who apparently are still going, were like, no, stop doing that. But Rockstar's rebuttal was basically, everybody does this. Anyone who sets anything within the Wild West times basically uses the Pinkertons. So why single out Red Dead Redemption 2 and not every cowboy movie ever? I don't know. Probably because Red Dead made a lot of money. Anyway. So this coming officially from the PlayStation blog. The full cross-platform play is now live in Rocket League. So there was a big kind of stink last year that Sony was holding out on the whole cross-platform play thing. Like Microsoft were good with it. Nintendo were good with it. Steam was good with it, or whoever will handle the PC servers. And basically PlayStation or Sony was holding up the show on getting cross-platform play. So they've had it for Fortnite, I think, for a bit, or at least they were planning on it. I don't know if they actually did do it. But now they actually have done it for Rocket League. So you are now currently available to use the cross-platform beta program. Not sure how you get into it, but there you go. And you can do PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Steam users for PC. So they can all play together online, and the PC crew will probably just annihilate them. But that's however it goes. It's currently an opt-in thing in the settings or the options menu on Rocket League. If you happen to play that and want to play with your friends who play on Xbox or Switch or PC or PlayStation, what have you. Epic has updated their game store refund policies. There's a lot of just fucking rules and regulations and laws in this week's news, but what have you. So basically their refund policy is now on par with Steam's, so you can return the game if you have less than 2 hours played or it's within a certain number of days or something like that. This is mostly to get in line with, well, one, to have parity with their biggest rival, but also to be in line with EU rules about being able to return products. So that's that. That's just another step on the Epic Game Store to becoming more like Steam, or not more like Steam, but a better competitor for Steam. Anthem producer reiterates no loot boxes commitment. So this came from the Anthem beta, or one of the Anthem demos. Basically, they said, thanks for playing. Here's 100 Anthem coins, or whatever they're actually called in-game, to put towards cosmetics and shit. And that basically came back on Twitter to say, fuck's sake, loot boxes, are you serious? So the producer weighed in to say, no, there's no loot boxes. There are cosmetics and there are microtransactions, but there are no random kind of loot box thing. What I'll say to that is probably there aren't, but what I will also say is there have been plenty of games that have said that, released without loot boxes, and then down the line, when the news cycle had moved off them, they put loot boxes in. Destiny did it. The Division did it. The Division even famously said there will never be loot boxes in the Division, and there are. So who knows? This is EA we're talking about. As much as I might like to think that BioWare has a guiding hand here, EA pay them, So who knows? Last news story. Awesome Games Done Quick finished up this week and raised $2.3 million for cancer research charity. That's a new record for them. Last year it was 2.2 million. So they're gone up a whole 0.1 of a million. So good for them. A lot of good games showcased this year as well. If you want to check out the AGDQ, or sorry, not the AGDQ, the GDQ YouTube channel, they have a whole playlist of all the different games. Why is there a big booty on the screen? I'm just gonna move that up. I don't know what that's about. Fuck's sake, Kotaku, you're gonna get me banned. So that was the news. A lot of regulations and shit. Nothing a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat 11, cool. I'm not a big fighting game player, but I do like to watch them being played. So that'll be fun. Gonna say something. Yes. Elsewhere on the channel. So yesterday I did a stream of Onimusha Warlords, which was a bit choppy, but there's an archive of it on the YouTube channel, which is fine because I record them. I record them from my machine rather than exporting them over to YouTube because there are problems when I do that. Later on in a few, what time is it? Okay, so we'll say 3:30. I'll boot up Vane, which is a kind of journey, ico, puzzly, contemplative type deal. I'm going to have a look at that in about 15 minutes, so 3:30 p.m. my time. Otherwise, if you're not into Vane, that's fine. There'll be an archive of it anyway, even if you can't hang around. Otherwise, next week, there'll be more news. Saturdays, I've pushed this about an hour earlier, mostly because I was just hanging around waiting to do it. So, again, keep an eye on the Twitter or on the Twitch to see when I'm going live for these, because they won't necessarily always be at 4 or 5, because it was 3 today and it might even be 2. I don't know. It depends, honestly, on what I actually have to do that day, and I don't really want to be hanging around if I don't have to. And then the other plan is to kind of do any games that came out that I was interested in that week will be played, hopefully streamed. That doesn't mean I won't be doing my monthly games review as well. That will still be happening. But this gives me a chance to just get the games out there and just see what they're like. Right. Anyway, hopefully this stream went okay, choppy-wise. I know the content wasn't exactly riveting, but, you know, I don't make the news, I just report the news, as they say. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back in 14 minutes now, and we'll have a look at Vane, okay?